On Monday Night Football, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. Boy, really my question watching the so I watched the game after it happened, right? I recorded it, I went back and watched it, and I knew what had happened before watching the game, but I just was like, how did this happen? How does an 11-2 Pittsburgh Steelers team lose to a bad Bengals team with a backup quarterback, by the way, Ryan Finley, who I thought Ryan Finley, to his credit, did exactly what you want a backup quarterback to do. He played well enough to win and took care of the ball, and I was like, that's solid, right? But how do you lose to Ryan Finley and the Bengals if you're Pittsburgh? Here's how. And the simple answer is 3 words. It's 4 words. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Steelers were bad. The Steelers were bad. It's a 4-letter answer. And we'll talk about the offense first, man. In the first half of this game, Pittsburgh had the ball 8 times. They had 5 punts. They were technically all 3 and outs, but there were penalties, so there were plays that didn't count. They had 8 drives. So 8 drives. 5 of them were turnovers. 5 of them were punts. 3 of them were turnovers. They had 2 fumbles and an interception. All 3 turnovers that Pittsburgh had led to a Cincinnati touchdown or field goal. It was 17-0 at halftime. This is the starting field position for the 3 scoring drives the Bengals had in the first half. They started on the 24-yard line going in. They started on the 38-yard line going in. And they started on the 26-yard line going in. It really helps when you start every drive basically or actually in field goal range, right? It helps just a little bit, right? It makes it a lot easier on your backup quarterback. And look, Ryan Finley had some good throws. He was very fine. And I want to say another nice thing about Cincinnati. They made some good plays on defense, man. Their secondary had some good pass breakups. I was really impressed. They had a play down the left sideline. William something, I forget his last name, the third, knocked a ball away down the left sideline. That's a great play. And so Cincinnati, I'm interested in them. They really made some good plays on defense. They shut down the Steelers' running game in the first half. And mostly, though, other than, Cincinnati did well on defense, but Big Ben, the Steelers' quarterback, was inaccurate. He was making bad decisions. He had a play where he threw it to Juju. Juju fumbled it. Chase Claypool is wide open over the middle. I'm like, why are you throwing to Juju for a no gain when Chase Claypool is wide open? I don't know. Big Ben was off. I don't know if he was on pain medication and wasn't like normal. Sorry, that's inflammatory. I shouldn't say that even jokingly. It's inflammatory, but he was off. I mean, I can't explain it. I can't tell you what happened. You would think if Big Ben was struggling, and he did struggle with accuracy, but you would think he would only struggle with accuracy because he's a guy who's been in the league forever. And a veteran quarterback, like your body falls apart, it's hard to throw. Fine. But a veteran quarterback doesn't just fall apart mentally and lose the ability to read a defense, and that's what happened to Big Ben on Monday. Also, I really got to believe that injuries are starting to catch up to Pittsburgh on defense. And starting to catch up isn't the right way to put it. They are catching up to Pittsburgh on defense because the Bengals were up 17-0 at halftime. A lot of that is because the Bengals got great field position. But then in the second half, Cincinnati had a drive. They were up 17-10, and the Steelers really needed to stop, get their offense to back the ball. They're only down 7, and instead of stopping Cincinnati, the Bengals had a 9-play, 80-yard drive. 8 of their 9 plays were running plays. They just abused Pittsburgh up front. And the Bengals did that with a backup quarterback. I mean, when Pittsburgh needed a stop, they couldn't get it. And I think people don't even understand how many injuries they have. Just look up their linebacker core from the beginning of the year. Go to ESPN.com, look at their depth chart, and go, oh, the starters are gone, like super gone, and they're on like their 3rd string linebackers across the board. Guys that weren't even with them at the beginning of the year. Guys who played safety. Marcus Allen played safety to start the year. And Marcus Allen's played admirably, right? I could never do anything like he's doing in the NFL. But that's not what you intended to start the year. And I just feel bad, man. Like, we're learning really that the 11-0 run the Steelers went on had way more to do with their defense than I even realized. I thought they had some weapons on offense. I like Chase Claypool. Deontay Johnson had a case of drops. He's been dropping a bunch of balls. But other than that, he's been somewhat of an emerging playmaker. James Washington can make plays. Juju is Juju. And Big Ben was playing well to start the year. But it really helped. They had a great defense. And they don't right now and haven't for the last, they're on a 3-game losing streak. And then, in spite of their defense, right, in spite of everything that went on, the Steelers still had the ball in the fourth quarter, down 7 points. They were down 24-17. Steelers had the ball 1st and 10, down 7, 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. So they had a chance to tie the game with 2 minutes left. And they couldn't do it. The Steelers had 4 incomplete passes in a row. They had a turnover on downs. Bengals ball, end of the game. And by the way, earlier in the game, the Bengals had stopped Pittsburgh on the goal line, made them, force them to kick a field goal instead. So, again, man, the Steelers lost 3 games in a row. They couldn't move the ball against the Bengals defense for large portions of that game. Their defense is injured and not playing very well. They're getting beat up front, which is surprising given that that's the strength, in theory, of their team. And then again, I'm not a big Ryan Finley guy, but he's definitely did exactly what you want your backup quarterback to do. He played well. He was decent enough to win a game, and that's really all you can ask from a backup quarterback. And it was kind of a fun win for Cincinnati. I went, it's kind of cool. And I know there's some stat going around. People are saying, it's the first time since 1973 that 2 teams that were this big of underdogs won a game, referring to the Jets and the Bengals, and a bad team beating a good team, but happening twice in 1 week. And I mean, people make that stat and find that stat to impress you, but I don't know. I wasn't like, wow, I can't believe it. I was just, with the Jets I was. With the Steelers, I just went like, man, 3 games in a row. This was a team that a couple weeks ago I was like, man, this could be a Super Bowl team. And I've since shifted my focus. It's now going to be Kansas City. In my opinion, I don't know who beats Kansas City. I don't know how you could beat Kansas City. The Chiefs are incredible. But it ain't the Steelers, man. The Steelers are a shell of what they were to start the year. Injuries don't help. But I can't explain Big Ben falling apart. Disappointing and sad, and that's I don't have any more to say. That's my recap of the Steelers and why they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football.